A can of enchilada sauce on a Tuesday night is one of the most common shortcuts in the American kitchen. You pull it off the shelf, you pop the top, you pour it over tortillas and cheese, and 15 minutes later dinner is on the table. The can is small, the price is low, the work is done. But that unassuming little can hide one of the most aggressive ingredient cost engineering exercises in the entire grocery store. Inside is a slurry of tomato concentrate diluted far beyond what any recipe would suggest, chili powder stretched with paprika and cornstarch, sodium levels calibrated to the upper edge of what federal regulators consider acceptable, and in several national brands, additives that would never appear in an authentic enchilada sauce made by anyone who has actually eaten one in Mexico. 5 brands in particular are robbing you, charging premium prices for what amounts to red-colored salt water, and 5 other brands, smaller, often regional, sometimes Mexican imports, are producing enchilada sauce that tastes like what the name promises. Tonight we take the lid off. The Food and Drug Administration has long permitted the use of hydrolyzed vegetable protein, monosodium glutamate, disodium inosinate, and disodium guanylate as flavor enhancers in shelf-stable savory products including enchilada sauce. And while these ingredients are generally recognized as safe in moderate amounts, their cumulative effect in a diet heavy in processed sauces is a subject of ongoing research. The USDA's dietary guidelines recommend daily sodium intake below 2,300 milligrams, and independent testing of mass-market enchilada sauces has found sodium densities that, combined with typical household use patterns, can deliver 600 to 800 milligrams of sodium from sauce alone in a single serving of enchiladas. The World Health Organization has called for global reductions in dietary sodium, and a 2022 analysis in the American Journal of Hypertension suggested that processed sauces represent an underappreciated vector of sodium in American diets. Research indicates that consumers routinely underestimate the sodium contribution of condiments and cooking sauces, and studies suggest that the actual sodium load from a single home-cooked enchilada dinner made with commercial sauce may approach the entire recommended daily intake once the cheese, the tortillas, and the side items are accounted for. The first enchilada sauce brand to avoid is the national, mass-market red can that has been on American shelves for generations. The ingredient list begins with water, not tomato, signaling immediately that the product is a dilution rather than a concentration. Tomato puree appears second, but the total tomato content is low enough that the sauce relies on paprika, caramel color, and modified cornstarch to deliver visual character. The chili pepper content is minimal, with the label listing chili pepper alongside a litany of other seasonings, and the sodium content per half-cup serving approaches 500 milligrams. Consumers paying $2 for this are receiving essentially a salted, colored cornstarch slurry with trace tomato and spice content, and the product bears almost no relationship to traditional enchilada sauce beyond the color. The second brand is the enchilada sauce with chipotle or other flavored variant of the same national line. The chipotle flavoring implies smoky depth, but the ingredient panel reveals that the smoke flavor comes from a natural flavor compound rather than from actual smoked peppers. The sodium level is typically higher than the base version, and the added flavor compounds include the glutamate enhancers that contribute to the palatability but amplify the sodium sensitivity concern. The chipotle variant is the base product with more chemistry, sold at a slight premium. The third brand is the organic enchilada sauce marketed in health food stores and specialty grocers. The organic certification covers the tomato and spice sourcing but does not constrain the overall formulation, and several organic enchilada sauces on the market use the same dilution strategy, the same thickening technology, and similar sodium levels as conventional mass-market products. Consumers paying for dollars for a can expecting a meaningful upgrade are often receiving the organic equivalent of the conventional dilution, with a higher price and modestly cleaner ingredient sourcing, but no fundamental improvement in product quality. The fourth brand is the upscale or restaurant branded enchilada sauce sold in jars in premium grocery sections. The packaging evokes artisan preparation, and the price point suggests quality. But independent ingredient analysis has found that many of these products are contract-packed by the same co-packers that produce mass-market enchilada sauces with modest recipe adjustments to justify the premium positioning. The tomato content is often higher, the sodium slightly lower, and the ingredient list slightly shorter, but the product is not the artisan sauce the packaging implies. The premium is real, the craft is partial. The fifth brand is the green enchilada sauce variant produced by the same dominant manufacturers. The green sauce should be built on a foundation of tomatillos, roasted green chilies, and garlic, but mass-market green enchilada sauces often dilute the tomatillo content with water, thicken with modified starch, and rely on paprika-based coloring to ensure visual consistency across batches. The green sauce category carries the same concerns as the red sauce category, with the additional concern that the marketing implication of fresh roasted chilies rarely matches the underlying formulation. Now, the 5 enchilada sauce brands worth buying. The first is the authentic Mexican imported sauce sold in jars and cans in the Hispanic foods aisle or in Latin American grocery stores. These products, produced in Mexico and imported into the United States, typically contain tomato, chilies, garlic, onion, salt, and vinegar, with minimal or no additional additives. The ingredient panels are short, the flavor profiles are robust, and the prices are often comparable to mass-market American brands. Learning to navigate this aisle is one of the highest return kitchen literacy investments a home cook can make. The second worthy brand is the regional American artisan sauce producer, often based in the Southwest, that produces small-batch enchilada sauce from locally sourced chilies and tomatoes. These producers tend to sell through regional grocery chains, farmers markets, and direct-to-consumer channels, and the products are typically marked by short ingredient lists, higher chili concentration, and pricing that reflects genuine small-scale production. The third is the Mexican-American family-owned brand that has built its business on scaling authentic recipes while maintaining ingredient integrity. These brands are found in many supermarkets and in Hispanic specialty retailers, and while they have grown beyond small batch status, their ingredient panels remain significantly cleaner than the dominant mass market brands. The price premium is modest and the quality upgrade is substantial. The fourth is the chili sauce concentrate approach used by serious home cooks. A can of Mexican chipotles and adobo, a can of roasted tomatoes or whole peeled tomatoes, a few cloves of garlic, a chopped onion, and 20 minutes on the stovetop produces a homemade enchilada sauce that outperforms almost every commercial product on flavor and ingredient integrity. This is not a purchased sauce per se, but it is the single most effective alternative to the robbed consumer experience at the grocery store. The fifth worthy option is the frozen fresh sauce sold by certain specialty producers who package freshly prepared sauce in small portions and sell it from the freezer section. These products bypass the shelf stability chemistry that drives preservative use in canned sauces, and the resulting ingredient profile is closer to scratch cooking than any shelf-stable product can achieve. Availability is limited, but where these products exist, they represent the top tier of the category. Here is what a protective investigator would tell you to do. First, read the ingredient panel on your enchilada sauce and count the ingredients. A product with more than 8 ingredients is likely carrying dilution and additive complexity that does not serve your dinner. A product with more than 12 ingredients should be put back on the shelf. Second, look at where tomato or chili appears on the list. The first ingredient should be tomato or a tomato derivative, or a chili derivative, not water. Third, check the sodium line and aim for products delivering under 300 milligrams per serving, which is achievable with careful shopping but requires attention to labeling. Fourth, explore the Hispanic foods aisle of your grocery store, or, better, visit a Mexican or Latin American specialty grocery in your area. The variety, quality, and price-to-value ratio available in those aisles dwarfs what the mainstream grocery presents to the typical shopper. Fifth, learn to make enchilada sauce from scratch at least once. The process is simpler than most recipes suggest and produces a result that recalibrates your expectations of what the sauce should taste like. Once you have made it once, you will be a more informed consumer for the rest of your life. Sixth, when buying canned or jarred, prefer imports from Mexico or from small regional American producers and be willing to pay a modest premium for substantially better product. Seventh, store leftover sauce in glass containers rather than the original can because the acidic sauce can continue to interact with the can lining after opening, and glass storage preserves flavor while eliminating any residual migration concern. The enchilada sauce aisle is a microcosm of how commodity food engineering has captured an authentic cultural food and reduced it to a formula of dilution, sodium, and color. The sauce that should be the flavorful foundation of an entire category of cooking has become, in its mass market form, a compromise that no one serving the dish would knowingly accept if they understood what they were putting on their family's plates. 5 brands are the worst of the category, trading on convenience and price to deliver a product that fails the dish. 5 alternatives, if you know where to look, preserve the integrity of the tradition at prices that are not meaningfully higher once you adjust for actual value delivered. The small investment of attention required to navigate this category pays off every time you cook enchiladas for the rest of your life, and in a cumulative sense, it is one of the highest yield kitchen literacy exercises available to a modern home cook. Choose carefully, taste the difference, and let the can on the shelf reveal itself for what it is. Dinner is better when the sauce under it is real.